Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Kanda, Book 1, Sarga 39, Canto 39, The Sons of Sagara. The saint, in accents sweet and clear, thus told his tale for Rama's ear, and thus anew the holy man a legend to the prince began. There reigned a pious monarch o'er Ayodhya in the days of yore. Sagar his name, no child bad he, and children much he longed to see. His honored consort, fair of face, sprang from Vidarbha's royal race. Keshini, famed from early youth for piety and love of truth. Arishtonemi's daughter fair, with whom no maiden might compare. In beauty, though the earth is wide, Sumati was his second bride. With his two queens afar he went, and weary days in penance spent, fervent upon Himalaya's hill, where springs the stream called Brigu Ril. Nor did he fail that saint to please with his devout austerities. And when 100 years had fled, thus the most truthful Brigu said: From thee, O Sagar, blameless king, a mighty host of sons shall spring, and thou shalt win a glorious name, which none, O chief, but thou shalt claim. One of thy queens a son shall bear, maintainer of thy race and hair, and of the other there shall be sons 60,000 born to thee. Thus as he spake, with one accord, to win the grace of that high lord, the queens with palms together laid, in humble supplication prayed. Which queen, O Brahman, of the pair, the many, or the one shall bear? Most eager, Lord, are we to know, and as thou sayest, be it so. With his sweet speech the saint replied, Yourselves, O queens, the choice decide. Your own discretion freely use, which shall the one or many choose. One shall the race and name uphold, the host be famous, strong and bold. Which will have which? Then Keshini, the mother of one, heir would be. Sumati, sister of the king, of all the birds that ply the wing, to the illustrious Brahman sued, that she might bear the multitude, whose fame throughout the world should sound, for mighty enterprise renowned. Around the saint the monarch went, bowing his head most reverent. Then with his wives, with willing feet, besought his own imperial seat. Time passed, the elder consort bare, a son called Asamanj the hare. Then Sumati the younger gave birth to a gourd, O hero brave, whose rind, when burst and cleft in two, gave 60,000 babes to view. All these with care the nurses laid in jars of oil, and there they stayed, till youthful age and strength complete, forth speeding from each dark retreat, all peers in valor, years, and might, the 60,000 came to light. Prince Asamanj, brought up with care, scourge of his foes, was made the hare. But liegeman's boys he used to cast to Saraju's waves that hurried past, laughing the while in cruel glee, their dying agonies to see. This wicked prince, who I withstood the counsel of the wise and good, who plagued the people in his hate, his father banished from the state. His son, kind spoken, brave and tall, was Anshuman, beloved of all. Long years flew by. The king decreed to slay a sacrificial steed. Consulting with his priestly band, he vowed the rite his soul had planned, and Vedas skilled by their advice made ready for the sacrifice. Jai, Valmiki Ramayana. Beautiful. Let's see footnotes. 49 1b. I am compelled to omit cantos 37 and 38, the glory of Uma and the birth of Kartikeya, as both in subject and language offensive to modern taste. They will be found in Schlegel's Latin translation. And there we go. Our Rav Griffith is giving us his morality. What is moral according to him? As both in subject and language offensive. Who are you to say? Who are you to say it's offensive? It's offensive to you, stupid. You know, to stupid people is offensive. If it is there for a reason. You can't just omit chapters from Ramayana because you feel is inappropriate or offensive for some modern taste of 1800s. They call it modern taste of 1800s. Anyway, but this is good to know that those chapters will be found in Schlegel's Latin translation. So it looks like that our Rav Griffith, he is taking all these translations from Schlegel. And as it seems, Schlegel also gives his most likely stupid comments, minimizing Ramayana. But at least they really did good job translating. I would say they did pretty good job translating from Sanskrit to English. I guess it was first from Sanskrit to Latin, and then Ralph Griffith, I think, he translated from Schlegel's Latin to modern 1800s British. So anyway, I will read those cantos, those sargas from a different source then. But I will read them. I will read the glory of Uma and the birth of Kartikeya. These are really interesting chapters to know. Um, anyway, really beautiful chapter again. Beautiful chapter of Ramayana about the sons of Sagara. Sagara was a great father of Rama. He was also king of Ayodhya, and he had two wives named Keshini and Sumanti. Sumati, she was a sister to famous celestial eagle Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu. And Sagar, he wanted to have children, and he took his wives with him to Himalaya, to Himalaya, to a place called Briguril, where great sage Brigu is located and does his meditations. And there Sagar performed great austerities for thousands of years. Something unimaginable to our earthlings. Again, we are talking about beings who lived back in Satya Yuga times, Treta Yuga times, which is millions of years ago. And these human beings were so virtuous and truthful to their word, and exalted in every possible way to the human beings of the Kali Yuga, that we cannot even comprehend properly what kind of human beings we are dealing with. The human beings of Satya Yuga. First of all, according to the Vedas, back then in Satya Yuga, people were living for 100,000 years. In Treta Yuga for 10,000 years. In Dwapara Yuga for 1,000 years. And now in Kali Yuga, barely 100 years. Because the virtues have dropped so drastically from Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga that people barely reach 100 years old, and we are all looking like midgets in comparison to the people, human beings back then in Satya Yuga, or the Golden Age. In Satya Yuga, the average height of a human being was 48 feet. I'm talking about male height. About 48 feet. Lord Parashurama was 48 feet tall. In Dwapara Yuga, average height was 24 feet, half less. Rama was 24 feet. And in Dwapara Yuga, average height was 12 feet, half less. 12 feet. Krishna, Arjuna, they were 12 feet tall. And in Kali Yuga, average height is about 6 feet. even less. We are like midgets in comparison to the human beings of previous yugas. Previous yugas are time and space, different time and space dimensions. Not only time dimensions, but also time and space dimensions. The Earth, the planet Earth, was much bigger back then. Just like the leaves of a tree, they grow, they become fully grown, and then they dwindle and they fall off in the winter time. In the same way, the earth is like a leaf um, of a lotus petal, like a lotus petal of a lotus flower. And is the biggest in the Satya Yuga, then dwindles gradually, and everything shrinks. The whole planet shrinks. In other words, we are talking about different time and space dimensions. Things that it's very hard to wrap your mind around because we are limited to understand these higher dimensions. We are so limited. And because we cannot wrap our head around that, we just consider everything a mythology. We consider all these histories mythology, unfortunately, because it's really beyond us to accept the fact that people back then in golden age were 48 feet tall. It's mind-blowing to us to accept that, but it's true. This is the historical fact. Also, what is mind-blowing to us is that those people lived for 100,000 years. Again, incomprehensible for Kali Yugan peanut brain. So that's why, because we think these are all mythologies, and because we are full of vice, sinful as fog, torturing animals, eating junk food, watching nasty, perverted movies, Hollywood movies, complete destruction of the spirit by deteriorating more and more into complete ignorance, complete darkness of ignorance, of gross hedonism, gross materialism. Yeah, the gross, just gross, pure gross destruction of the environment, and complacency and obesity and stupidity. That's why we lost all knowledge of the past, and we are literally now on the complete animal level, devoid of almost every virtue, always disturbed in anxiety, mental health problems, bodily health problems, so many problems. Constantly and thinking ourselves to be the ultimate product of evolution, that there is nothing beyond us. We are so evolved. That's the pure ignorance we are living in. No, we are not evolving. We have devolved from the people that we were once in Satya Yuga, in Treta Yuga, in Kali Yuga, in Dwapara Yuga. And now in Kali Yuga we have completely lost all physical strength, all mental strength, all our virtues, and basically we are just living on a borrowed time. before Kali destroys everything. Because we have did so much destruction, so much bad karma all over the world by exploiting the animals, running this globalist crony capitalism and globalist Marxist communism, both both evils, both sides of the same shekel. Complete darkness of ignorance. We have no we have completely forgotten the actual our actual historical roots. And we think that we came from nothing, from a black hole. We are hurled into space. We are flying with enormous speeds and we are evolving. And there is nobody else in the universe except us. That's how ridiculous this civilization is. Complete darkness of ignorance. So, unfortunately, we need to do something. And how we do things is by reminding ourselves about the true history, Ramayana, Mahabharata, the Vedas. We are talking about completely different timeline than what is presented to us, that we have evolved from the caves, that everything came from nothing. All this Freemasonic pseudoscience, complete BS of the science, complete black magic spell throwing, that to believe that everything came from nothing. Complete nonsense. So yeah, so that's it. Ciao.